Okay. Good evening.
Is it working?
I think we're going to start here. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's apparently working with the camera. So hopefully you all can hear me okay. You can hear me in the back? Oh, good. Zenzi says yes, so we're good. Good evening. I'm Diana Godwin. I'm the library director here at Pacific Grove Public Library, and I welcome you to our fall series, Ourselves We Sing. This is a call and response with Walt Whitman and our understanding of American democracy. In this series, we are featuring poetic responses from different perspectives. We have changing installations and advocacy tables at each of our different events. The gallery show and exhibits run until January 5th, 2024. I hope that you will visit often, vote, read. We have a lot of information out here, and think about what democracy means to you. I want to thank Kathy Gable and Christine Crozier for their tireless work putting this show and series together. We are sponsored by the Pacific Grove Public Library, Friends and Foundation, with support from the Whitney Latham Leitchik Trust for Poetry. November is Native American Heritage Month, and we are grateful to work with SICG, which is Supporting Indigenous Communities Group, and the Forest Theater Guild to present their Red Dress exhibit. This powerful exhibit was created to bring awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. It will be here the entire month of November. Please take the opportunity to read the various materials that are all around the Carnegie Commons here. In honor of Hispanic American voices, we've created a community ofrenda de los muertos over there where we usually have our community corner. You are encouraged to bring offerings to add to the ofrenda. This will be up the entire month of November as well. And we're really thrilled to have a number of members of the public bring in photos of their beloved ones who are departed and share in honoring them over there. We will begin this evening with a land acknowledgement from Linda Yamane, who is a Rumsen Ohlone artist and historian and great storyteller. Then I would like to introduce Georgina Maria Guardado, who is the Poet Laureate of Lake County, California, and she is driving down here from Lake County right now, and she has not arrived yet, so we're hoping she gets here, soon, but I'll talk a little bit more about her after she gets here. Supporting us at the advocacy table is Ismani Carney of the SICG, and she will be happy. And I'm sorry I didn't meet one of the people who's there. I see Rachel Ray and Helen? Ellen. Thank you so much for being here, and they will be happy to answer any of your questions after the speakers. And now I'd like to introduce Linda. Thank you so much for being here.
Mrs. Oikan, Imema Kamash, Mrs. I Huya Shapire Rumsen. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the traditional homeland of my Rumsen Ohlone ancestors. Sai Airuka Mur Mur A Utiruk. The country around here was their home. Ne Aituch Mak Rotai Chiai. Now we, all of us, are here. On behalf of the Rumsen Ohlone tribal community, I want to thank you all for taking this time to remember them. I'd like to offer a prayer to our Rumsen ancestors, our grandfathers and grandmothers, asking them to always be present in our hearts, also asking that they be present in spirit to guide us, and promising that we will keep their memory alive. Makpa pakai in menakai, makol hekchon mam lul shakai huya makrutsa simakai, mak ol imano kumak amrote, mak monshem. Inish kumak un emech, mak pesoi, mak amakai. So I wanted to share something with you this evening. It's an ancient Rimson story, and most of our stories are not in Rimson language because the Rimson community members who shared them, for the most part, shared them in the early 20th century. And by this time, they were all native Spanish speakers. Not too many of that generation actually had learned Rimson language, but pretty much all of the various generations of Rimson people after the mission closed ended up kind of living together, I'm sure, for a sense of security, for a sense of belonging, like all people seem to do. Intuitively, people kind of cluster together, especially if they are part of a community that is not very well socially accepted in their time. So the younger generation of that time spent time as well with elders. And Isabel Meadows was one of those. Of course, by the time she was sharing this information, she was in her 80s herself. But when she was growing up, she, of course, had her mom, Loretta Onesimo, who spoke Rimson language, and there were other elders. But in particular, there was this one elderly woman whose name was Omesia, who, much to Isabel's mom's disapproval, Isabel spent quite a lot of time around. And so Isabel had a lot of opportunity to not only talk with Omesia, but to hear her talking with her mom, with Isabel's mom, Loretta, or with other older people in the Rimson community. So when Isabel was in her 80s and all of these people who were her elders had passed, she then started working with an ethnographer, but mostly a trained linguist, John P. Harrington. And they worked together for quite a number of years until Isabel passed away. And through that period of time of working together, John P. Harrington ended up writing down, I think it's over 30,000 pages of hand-scribbled field notes pertaining to Rimson language, history, cultural practices, plant uses, so many, this like huge range of things that for many years were kind of hidden away, so to speak, in these unpublished field notes. And I was lucky enough about 40 years ago to learn about these unpublished field notes, and it took me a while to locate them in a place where I could actually get to them and start working with them. But I did that, and part of what I found were some of our stories, but kind of in bits and pieces. And on occasion, there were little bits and pieces of translations in Rimson language. But anyway, what I finally did, I think about a year or so ago, is I pulled together a telling of this very important story, which in one way, when John P. Harrington first wrote about it, he called it Cuando se acabó el mundo, which in Spanish means when the world ended. It's actually a flood story. And in this, kind of on the occasion of this poetry-themed event, I realized that for me, our Rimson language is poetry. And I wanted to share that experience with you. And because I realize that when I speak it, although I have very few people and opportunities to speak it with, but I have been trying to teach small amounts of it to people over the years, that it feels like a beautiful thing without trying to sound too, I'm really not trying to sound contrived, but it really truly has felt like this to me. I have imagined the words being like in the air, so to speak, again, after so many generations. And this seemed like another opportunity to do that among people who would appreciate it. Ox ime shapire mur insist siom. Once a long time ago, all the world was covered with water. Sirch mur umui, in mur inamiki. Golden eagle was flying, and it was raining. Nuya kawatan wakai, I'm going over there, he said. Nenk ummanin sir huya chipil, tanai mur teo orapin shasir huya irek. Then he flew to the top of a mountain, and there eagle sat, achlust, alone. Yanmin kanoso pichchala wakai, I'm going to rest here a little, he said. Tanai mur pesoi shasir, watumenin shasi huya shapire. And eagle was thinking about how to dry up the water that covered the earth. Ne ku ummun sir merchange mur ummunin huya, ne ku ka karu sar shiuker mur wataniki. Then Hummingbird, Eagle's nephew, flew to the mountaintop to join Eagle, as did Crow, Raven, and Hawk. Ne ku kaisir huya shiuker, ot pat shia sheps chia kaut. In ochop huya shapire winumsi. To Hawk he said, go on now, take this feather right here, from right here on my head, and put it in the earth at the bottom of the water. Ne kuwashim shiuker shasheps, akiriki huya shawinumsi, in och huya shapire. So Hawk took that feather from the top of Eagle's head, and he dove down, deeper and deeper to plant that feather in the earth at the bottom of the water. Ne ku pichchala sorkoi shasi. When he did, little by little, the water began to dry. Mishich tori shapire kaisir. It's good that the world is drying, said Eagle. Mur pesoi shasir watumenin shasi. It was Eagle, with magic in the middle of his head, I add, because one of the elders who told this story added that little notation, that it was due to magic in the middle of his head, but it really, that part is not translated in here. It was Eagle, with magic in the middle of his head, who knew how to dry up the water when the earth flooded. Ne kusir in ka karu hish ama, echama uti rote ki atap huya shapire. Then Eagle, with help from Crow, made people, many people, so they could live here on the earth again. Sirch hishen atap mishich shapire. Eagle made the world good again. Wak shoma mak emechtom chia shasirchom. It's because of Eagle that we're alive here today. Mur mak yararich. He was our leader, our captain. Wahi shenatap shapire. He saved the world and made it new.